Hi everyone. I'm just going to do an overview about Windfall. Remember, this is an entertainment channel, so don't take my word, do your own research. Take this as a wow, I didn't know that, or wow, I did know, and just research for yourself, all right? So I have about 7 points. Actually, it isn't about, it is 7 points. So, number one is socialsecurity.gov. If you are not sure if you're subject to this windfall rule, just check with the Social Security office. That's the important thing. Call and speak to someone on the telephone and do what you need to do to make sure that you're informed. So, number two, we're just going to talk a little bit about what windfall is. Windfall is a rule, a Social Security rule, and in essence, the gist of it is if you work at a job where they are not taking out Social Security, have opted to not take out Social Security and place it into their retirement plan, it may impact the amount of Social Security benefit you receive. So it's very important to know if you are subject to windfall. So number three is, I'm just going to talk about defined benefit and defined contribution. You also need to know what type of retirement you have. Because if your job opts out of putting into Social Security, they should be putting some extra money into the retirement account to make up for that. Number four is years on file. You need to know how many years you have on file with the Social Security office. So a lot of times people started working very young. So if you started working when you were, let's just say 18, and you've worked a full-time job and they've been taking Social Security out from the time you were 18 to you were 50, well, you will have at least 32 years of Social Security on file. And depending on what the rules are, I mean, with 30 years, 32 years, you're most likely not going to be subject to windfall. But that's why you need to call and make sure. So I'm going to give a couple scenarios, actually three scenarios. So number five is if you had 30 years on file with Social Security, that means you have 30 years of work history. So unless Social Security changes things, you need to verify this, but I don't believe that you would be subject to windfall, but you have to verify that to be sure, because this is just based on when I spoke to someone about my work history, okay? So things can change, so you need to know for yourself. Number six, let's look at someone that worked 20 years and had 20 years of work history, and they decided that for whatever reason they're going to go work for the school district that is not taking out Social Security, and they're just going to work there until their full retirement age. So let's just say they started working there in their they worked somewhere in their early 20s and they came to the district in their when they're in their 40s, and they're going to work until their retirement age. Well, they would be subject to windfall. Their Social Security benefit would definitely be affected. So let's look at the final scenario. Someone has 25 years of work history with Social Security office. So they have worked somewhere for 25 years. I mean, it doesn't necessarily even have to be a nurse. It could be anyone, a teacher, an accountant, whatever the profession is. They have worked somewhere, let's just say in the corporate world, for 25 years. They've decided they're just going to simplify their life and go somewhere and work for 10 years. So when they realize they're subject to windfall, they decide, oh, you know what? I'm going to go back and work in the corporate world so I can raise up my Social Security benefit. Well, with that windfall rule, there are rules in terms of how many years you have to work before you get Social Security. And because I'm not really banking on, that I'm not going to be subject to windfall, it's important for you to know if you're going to use this strategy. Make sure you check with the Social Security office. Make sure you consult with someone that is versed in Social Security. So that is it in a nutshell. Be sure to go to the About section of my YouTube channel to learn about where I am on social media. And I will, as time allows, I'll put some information in the description area. I mean, this is an entertainment channel, but I talk to people all the time about this subject, and it's amazing that folks don't know this stuff. And it is so important. You don't want to get to the point when you're ready to collect your Social Security and then come to find out you're not getting what you thought. All right, so go to that About section, and until next time.